And I got hibachi. I'm about to eat down.
We should go to Golden Corral one day.
Go to Corral.
I keep seeing all these posts on the internet regarding Kamala. Oh, I'm with her. I'm not with her. Y'all want to know who I'm with? I'm with Jesus, okay? Because let me tell you something. The government may fail you. People may fail you. But has Jesus ever failed you? No, he hasn't, and he won't start now. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
And I got hibachi. I'm about to eat down.
We should go to Golden Corral one day.
Go to Corral.
I keep seeing all these posts on the internet regarding Kamala. Oh, I'm with her. I'm not with her. Y'all want to know who I'm with? I'm with Jesus, okay? Because let me tell you something. The government may fail you. People may fail you. But has Jesus ever failed you? No, he hasn't, and he won't start now. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, good people. It's your Alabama church girl here. First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. To all the leaders, saints, and friends, welcome, welcome, welcome on in. It's another good conversation on this evening. We're talking about love and marriage, Huntsville, and this slappy girls trip. All right, so go ahead and get your friends. Tell your girlfriends to come on over here because I need to know from the ladies, is this the way this thing's supposed to go? Because I was a little bit triggered. Around this time last year, we were looking for Shanquilla and trying to put the pieces together on what happened on Shanquilla's girls trip. Y'all forgot? Oh, let me remind you.
Shanquilla Robinson's parents say she took a trip to Mexico last month with a group of friends. Her friends made it back, but she didn't. They say she was found dead. They were told what happened, but they tell me tonight they're not buying it.
I just sit back and wait on God, because like I say, she's going to get justice.
A mystery in Mexico. How did a weekend with friends turn into a nightmare?
Man, something is not adding up right here.
Bernard and Salamandra Robinson say their daughter, 25-year-old Shanquilla Robinson, traveled with friends from Charlotte to Cabo, Mexico on October the 28th.
I spoke with her Friday evening. She was having dinner. And I never spoke with her again.
The next day, their world changed.
On Saturday evening, they called and said she wasn't feeling well, and they was going to call a doctor. But when they called, the doctor hadn't arrived yet, but they said she had alcohol poisoning.
They say they were told their daughter died from alcohol poisoning, but they don't believe that. They say they've heard different stories, and none of them add up.
We received the autopsy report on Thursday, and it said that her neck had been broke, and she had a spinal cord was cracked. So that took it to a whole nother level.
In a statement, the U.S. Department of State said, quote, "We are aware of these reports. Protecting the welfare of U.S. citizens overseas is among our top priorities. Out of respect for the privacy of those involved, we have no further comment at this time."
So I don't know about y'all, but I was triggered. I was triggered from the time the invitation went out to go to St. Thomas with these ladies in no girl code that you don't like and you can't stand. I was triggered. I was like, oh, no. See, let me tell you something about me. I don't know about y'all. Maybe you and your girlfriends are different. Go ahead and tag them. Tell them to come on over here. And as you're coming in, please hit that like button. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. But I don't know about you and your girlfriends. But as for me, if there's someone in my presence that I am not familiar enough with to let my guard down and be vulnerable around, guess what I'm going to do? I am going to put out my exoskeleton shell because I'm a whole Cancer with that crab symbol. And I have to go inside my shell like, baby, I ain't talking. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't doing anything. No, it's just not going to happen. I don't want to go nowhere with you. I can be pleasant. And I'm going to have to give this to Tisha. I'm rambling right now, but we're going to get to the episode. I'm gonna have to give it to Tisha. I'm just like Tisha. I can sit at the table with you and be pleasant. And because, first of all, I have decency and humanity. Secondly, because I'm a Southern girl. I'm a Southern belle with Southern hospitality. I know how to be nice to you. I also know how to be nice, nasty. But I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be cordial. As long as you don't get out of line, I won't take it there. So, anywho. But beyond that, sitting around the table together, having any sort of meal together. No, especially when you have verbalized to me and to others that you don't care for me, baby, where we going? Nowhere. I don't even want to have dinner with you because I want to eat my food in peace. I want to digest it with positivity. I don't want my bowels to be backed up with bitterness and anger and negativity like this. Who likes being spewed out by the executive producer that's on in front of the camera? I don't. All right, so your friends over here yet? I gave you enough time to tag them and tell them to come on in. All right, so let's go. Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode number 14. Girls Get Away From Me. All right, so what we have learned, we talked about it on last week when the ladies were invited to go on this trip. They were invited with a lot of niceties, and a whole lot of high-pitched voice, and a whole lot of giggling. And then the very next scene, we see the executive producer who is hosting the trip go and tell another friend of the show that she don't like none of them, that she ain't got nothing for them. She ain't got no reason to say it. I was like, what happened? Where did the energy shift happen? Because we didn't see it on camera. But what we do know is that there was a major energy shift. If it's going to happen like that, I need the editors and the producers to tell the whole story because we're missing a piece of the story. I told y'all, I like to read and I'm into the storyline, okay? And there's a piece missing out of this storyline. Please bring it together for me. But anywho, we see that there was a shift in the energy. So this episode picks up on that shift in the energy. They're actually flying out, going over to St. Thomas. Where the episode comes in, they are getting their luggage from baggage. We don't see them actually get on the plane and all that. Those things, it's not necessary anyway. But we see them picking up their luggage. They're missing their men, of course. Married. That's how married women are. We're missing the men. Okay, so they get into, as they're grabbing their bags, this other friend of the show shows up, who happens to be Sunny. Everybody had already verbalized at the previous brunch where everybody was around the table that, hey, we don't really care for this Sunny person because Sunny is out here snatching up men and we don't care for that type of behavior. These are Southern belles as well. So I get it. I understand. Even though every one of them people that's sitting around that table got their own faults and flaws, I understand that as a social group and a social gathering amongst this group of ladies, we don't want anything to do with Sunny. Well, she shows up anyway because she was invited by the executive producer who knew that they didn't care for Sunny. And they get into the van to go, I guess, over to their Airbnb. Let's talk about minding your P's and Q's. Now, these Southern women traveling out of the country on a girls' trip to St. Thomas, to an island, are trying their best to keep their Southern hospitality, even though, we're on vacation and sometimes we get wet and wild on vacation. We let loose and we forget about all those niceties on vacation. Sunny is in the back sitting by herself and it appears like she was on her phone. Now, I would presume that she was probably texting Mel, letting her know what was going on, who was saying what, where they at, and how the energy was. But that's just me speculating. Okay, she didn't say that, we didn't see that, but I'm speculating. Anywho, she's in the back, and it was produced. The show was edited as if everyone was giving her the silent treatment. But I will give it to Kimmy, Tisha, and Stormy. Each one of them tried to push past how they felt about Sunny to at least engage her in some form of communication or conversation. Tisha, I think, started asking her about what language was in St. Thomas and what was the food like in St. Thomas. Kimmy followed up along the same line. And then her and Stormy, Sunny and Stormy, had a little bit of dialogue about their in vitro process, which, it was cool to see that. Sunny's from a different state. There are a different set of rules, a different set of laws in a different state. So, I told y'all before, Alabama has some strict laws when it comes to women's reproductive rights. We're praying that this election cycle, some things will change. Please make sure that you are registered to vote. Go and check and check and check again. Make sure that your voting site has not changed. Make sure that you hadn't been kicked off the roll. And please go vote. But we're hoping that, some things change regarding the reproductive rights. So it was cool to see that conversation between Stormy and Sunny. They're not going to mistreat and mishandle this lady. They just, stay over there. We over here. That's the way it appeared to me. Now to get to the Airbnb, it's gorgeous. We do see the hostess, who is the executive producer that's in front of the camera, and had invited two of her friends, her personal friends who are not cast members on this show. We see them get to the Airbnb first. And with that, the views in this Airbnb are fabulous. The Airbnb itself looked gorgeous. So we're like getting excited and this and that and the other. The ladies are on their way in their Sprinter van. And then we see the executive producer who is in front of the camera, and her two girlfriends who are not castmates on this show, who we're just seeing for the first time in front of these cameras, go around and put out nameplates on which room would be for which lady once they arrive. The executive producer, who is in front of the camera, who is hosting this trip for this group of ladies who are cast members with her, made the statement that I'm going to walk through the home and see who I think should be where. So that implies to me that the executive producer who is in front of the camera on this trip, who's hosting this trip of ladies who she does not like, was the one who made the decision on where these ladies should be. All right. With all that being stated, they go around, they make the room selection. Now, I will say, the ladies get there in their Sprinter van, and I was hotty-toddy right along with them. When we see what the selections are, the two friends who are not cast members, who we are just being introduced to in front of these cameras, have nice private rooms, nice size and nice looking private rooms to themselves. The cast members, the majority of the cast members, those that are in the opening credits and have been in the opening credits for years since the inception of this show, are having to share rooms. That teed me off. Drop down in the comments, let me know. Did it upset you like it upset me? Because baby, I was like, what? Now I was upset with the executive producer that was in front of the camera and the executive producer that's behind the camera, because this just should not have happened. Do y'all watch Messy Mondays? I know you do, because I've seen the reports on it. I agree with Dr. Heavenly. I think that Carlos participated in the allowance of the executive producer in front of the cameras making these room selections to add drama. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I think I told y'all before that the allocation of resources is called politics. And the hostess of this show was playing politics in the worst fashion. And what makes me annoyed with it is that we as women get a bad rep with each other. Even men play on the fact that they know that we don't treat each other appropriately. So I didn't like this. I don't ever like this. The whole reason why it triggered me to consider the Shanquella Robinson situation is because it's these type of actions, this passive aggressiveness, that leads to the type of actions that took Shanquella Robinson's life. I don't like it. Let's not play in the sandbox and think we're not going to get dirty. Don't, because you always leave with residue on you. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Women, as a whole, I'm a girl's girl. So maybe, I'm a little extra sensitive because I'm a girl's girl. And hey, like I said, those that I don't fool with, I don't fool with. But I mean you no harm. I just don't fool with you. I'm not going to treat you and mistreat you for anybody's entertainment, ever. It's just not going to happen. Now, if you feel froggy with me, then I'm going to have to jump. I'm going to have to protect myself. But just out of spite, just because, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and I did not like that. So I was also disappointed with the hostess because, ma'am, you are a part of a D9 sorority, one of the finest D9 sororities. You know how this thing goes. You went to a HBCU, and them bulldogs, they've taught you a few things about how this thing goes. You are a church girl. You know how this thing goes. Seniority is a situation in our community. There's always a pecking order. There is a social expectation of seniority. That's why these ladies were upset. I'm sure whatever organizations that you participated in on the campus of Alabama A&M, I'm sure you crabbed in some organization. You know what the social expectation of seniority is. And you went against it. For what reason? For what reason? The show was going to be made just because y'all do have some issues between you. You didn't have to manufacture any drama. It was going to be there just because, as we see in the previews with Stormy, the situation with the Stormy, the previews that's showing the situation with Latricia, the drama was going to happen. You did not have to manufacture any, ma'am. And I'm disappointed in you. Latricia knew what it was because Latricia is ex-military. So she understood the assignment. She knew, I'm new to this show. I don't expect to get no good room because I'm new to this show. Why is it that you gave your friends who are not cast members the better rooms and then put Tisha, Kimmy, and Letitia's plus one, who we know is going to be Destiny, all in one little room? Why did they get the barracks room, the open bay room, what looked like full-size beds? Why? Because you, ma'am, you were the one that said that it's shameful for an executive producer to get out here and mishandle and mistreat people who are helping them to make money. And from what I have witnessed on this show, Letitia and Kimmy have been helping you make money since day one. Miss Hostess with the mostest. This is not how we treat our guests. It's not. especially those that have been helping you. So, anywho, the new girls got better accommodations. The friends and the new girls got better accommodations than the ones who've been here all along. Just because I don't like y'all. Bad business and bad character. All right, moving forward. I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't want y'all jumping on me like like Kimmy was about to jump on Miss Nail. Miss Nail. Miss Nail, you are the sole reason that your blood pressure is high. It's you, ma'am. It ain't the kids. It's you. Miss Nail, you can blame the kids and them borrowing money from you and all of this, but it's you, Miss Nail. You are the reason that your blood pressure is high because you are choosing to spaz out, go crazy. Oh, Lord, I shouldn't say use those words. My apologies. You are choosing to allow yourself to have emotional reactions over the objects and incidents and issues that matter not. They mean nothing, Miss Nail. Yeah, clearly we know that you were peeping the BS behind this room selection, but you could calm down, Miss Nail. And then on top of that, Miss Nail notices, in fact, Sunny pointed out to Miss Nail that Melody was out on the balcony having a little conversation with Tisha and Kimmy because they were upset about their rooms. So Miss Nail goes out as the big bad wolf and jumps in the conversation. Miss Nail, you didn't have to. You should have. Even if you were going to walk out there, you should have went out there to listen. Be slow to speak. Be quick to listen. Because Miss Nail, you thought you were big and bad. You thought you were tiny dynamite, which I believe you got it in you. But Kimmy was not here for it. And Kimmy closed that gap between me and thee real quick. And Kimmy let you know, listen, what we don't need is this right here. You can stay out of this, Nail. I said, oh, Kimmy. We have never seen Kimmy respond like this. I had to think about it. Like, what got Kimmy so in her feelings? And I thought about it, y'all. And you tell me in the comments if you agree. Kimmy, we've seen Kimmy and her marriage to Maurice for 8 seasons, and this is the 8th season now. We know that Kimmy and Maurice, they love their bedroom fun. They love to put it down. They love to get it in. And Kimmy loves her toys too. So Kimmy was probably upset that she didn't get a room to herself because she wasn't going to have time with her toys. That's what I'm thinking. That probably had Kimmy pissed to the high heavens. I was like, Kimmy, calm down, girl. It's going to be okay. You ain't got to throw nobody off over this balcony right now. But Kimmy looked like, little lady, if you don't sit down and shut up, I'm going to get you. I'm going to show you where this aggression comes from. I said, oh my God, Kimmy. But yeah, Miss Nail, go drink some water and go take a nap. Because Miss Nail, you were on one. You need to go down by the riverside and lay your burdens down. Go talk to Jesus. And he will make it all right, Miss Nail. Because whatever you had going on, whatever had you so stressed to the high heavens, it was a little bit, from what we saw, it was a little bit of nothing. And it didn't have to go there. You did not have to make a scene. I don't know if you thought you were playing up the cameras. Once again, if this is your manufactured drama, Miss Nail, we don't want to see that. No, 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 we don't want to see it. And then so Miss Nail goes back inside to have a conversation. And I didn't like, there was something that the hostess said to Miss Nail that I still didn't care for, even though we know that Miss Nail was having a very emotional response. I still didn't like the hostess saying to her with a neck roll that, girl, I know you're not tripping about no name card. as much as you call me and I answer the phone for you, that was a bit condescending. And what we don't like to see, Miss Hostess with the mostest, is you being condescending. We want to like you, but you give us a lot of reasons to back away from that. Mm-mm. It wasn't nice-like. It definitely wasn't Christ-like. Please don't do that. We talked about this before with how we treat our elders, because you also were quick to point out that she's the oldest one in the room. I noticed when before she was in your presence, you and your girlfriends were calling her Miss Fletcher. But then when she got in your presence, you addressed her differently. Please don't do that. You can calm this lady down without being condescending. You can de-escalate the situation without being rude and neck rolling. That just is an escalation to me as well. And on top of that, when Kimmy got into Miss Nell's face, please don't touch Kimmy again. Because Kimmy looked like she could do you and Miss Nell. Please don't do that. Tisha, you another one. When Miss Nell was all upset and heated, we told you before, Tisha, to keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch that lady ever again, especially in her private parts. Don't touch the lady ever again. Okay, so moving forward. Miss Nell tells Kimmy and Tisha that they needed to suck up whatever grievances they had, because she had to suck up her grievance about the name card. Melody left off a name card for Miss Nell, so she had to suck it up. They need to suck it up. And Kimmy let her know, ma'am, no, I don't have to suck up nothing. And you can not say anything. What you can do is shut up. And then we get to this situation with the hostess with the mostest friend. They say her name. Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, Mr. Reynolds, good to see you. They say her name is Dr. Shanita Foster. I did not watch. They say that I've heard through the grapevine that she has been on a few other reality TV situations, namely the Football Wives show. I did see her response on the internet a few days ago about how she was embarrassed by her behavior on this show. So I'm going to give her a little bit of grace, because she did at least come back out and say, hey, y'all, I'm sorry, I was embarrassed. But at the same time, I saw through your gaslighting and your BS, Miss Dr. Shanita Foster. She says that she is ex-athlete. She says that she's 6 feet tall. She says that she wasn't really trying to be on reality TV because she's done reality TV before, and what she found out was that she wasn't emotionally strong enough to handle all the backlash that comes in the comment section from the audience, the viewing audience. These are her words. And I'm saying all this for a reason, because Dr. Shanita, I don't find that to be believable. And your behavior is coming off very, very similar to your good girlfriend, who's the executive producer in front of the camera. Dr. Shanita said to us that she has had challenges, and she has had an attempt on her life before. And to that I say, I do not play around with that. I'm not going to play around with that. I do have a lot of grace and sympathy in my heart for situations like that. And with that being stated, the story that she was presenting to us, that she wasn't really trying to be on reality TV for those reasons. The story sounds like a solid story, but your behavior did not align with what the story says. Because on the show Saturday night, we see you made every attempt to be in front of the camera, to make your presence known, make your voice known. Melody brought 2 friends on the show, which I'm not mad at. Please know, I'm not mad that she brought her friends, because we already know she don't like none of these ladies. So she needs some, if she's going out of the country, she needs somebody that she could at least enjoy. That she could at least let her hair down, have a good time with. I ain't mad at that. But the other friend named Lauren has sense enough to say, I'm not on this cast, so I don't have to say nothing. I don't have to do nothing outstanding. I'm here to support my friend. That's it. That's all. Miss Dr. Shanita Foster was the opposite. From the time they stepped out of the car, she went to going in on the cast members, on the castmates. Now, Dr. Shanita told us in her social media rant the other night that she's never watched this show. She don't watch TV. She ain't got no cable. That her kids look at TikTok. So that's how she know that people don't like her right now, that people are mad at her, because the kids see the snippets on TikTok. But she don't have cable. She don't watch TV because she's in Africa all the time. And I'm wondering, y'all, what is this lady the doctor of? What is her degree in, for real? Because first of all, the doctors that I know with a PhD, they would not be doing this type of reality TV. They might do some documentaries. They might be like that beautiful lawyer that's doing coming. She was just here in Alabama, coming around doing documentaries and telling the stories, the untold stories of different areas. But they're not going to be doing this type of reality, this messy type of reality TV, because they spent too much time and too much money on their profession to be playing around, as my good girlfriend, Dr. Wendy Williams, would say, slumming around with you in this reality TV. They would not be doing it. Wendy said, "Baby, I got degrees in this. I'm educated in this. This is my job, Nene. I'm not slumming around with you." So why is Dr. Foster, Shanita, slumming around with these ladies? And why is it that even though you say you didn't care to be on the show, you were so vocal and very evidently vocal that the producers have no other choice but to give you some scenes? I heard you more than I heard Stormy talk. That's why you see Stormy way in the background over here. I heard you more than I heard Sunny or Latricia talk. In fact, I could almost put what you had to say, you probably neck and neck with the amount of lines that Tisha had in this episode. But you were very highly vocal. You knew that you had the mic pack on you and the camera in your face. So I'm wondering, what is her degree in, y'all? Please, somebody tell me. Because the doctors that I know just don't act like this. They don't, especially not in public, to be acting a fool. No. And they are very selective about who they hear them say what. Very much so. I told you I had the pleasure of going to an event, and I'll tell more about this when Married to Medicine comes back around. But I had the pleasure of going to an event at Dr. Jackie's house, and it was beautiful. Her home is divine, beautiful taste, yes. But I will say that I was paying attention to the behavior. Dr. Heavenly is always going to be messy. But Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, they were very watchful. They paid attention. And they were very selective with their words. And that's what I know about just about any doctor that I'm around, whether it's a PhD or an MD, whatever the degree. But if they got the title of doctor in front of their name, they're very selective because they know the ramifications of saying the wrong thing. They know the ramifications of offending the wrong group of people. When you have a proficiency that is for people. So I want to know, what is this lady's, is she really, what school did she get her degree from? Is it a Full Sail PhD? Y'all help me out. Can we research this? Can we come back and discuss it again? Because we've seen a clip that's to come of her actually getting aggressive with Letitia, Marceau's wife. So is this really a doctor? Does she still have her credentials and accreditation? Dr. Shanita says to her friend, who is the executive producer in front of the camera, who is hosting this trip full of ladies that she doesn't like. Well, first she asked, they're having a discussion at the table. There was a definition of how they consider friendship being thrown around. And Dr. Shanita, I think, made the statement that she knows she can determine if it's a good friend by the way that they respond or react when they don't get their way. Mind you, she had already made the statement that her girlfriend, Melody, is always around snakes. She shouldn't be afraid of snakes. She's always around snakes. Kevin says, no, it did not upset me. Tish and Kimmy were in the 3-bedroom. Well deserved. No, I don't agree with you, Kevin. You know, we always disagree though. They didn't deserve that type of treatment. But yeah, so Dr. Shanita had already made the statement to Melody that as soon as they stepped out of the car, she made the statement. Melody said, oh, I'm just scared about these snakes, possible snakes in the grass. Dr. Shanita said, well, you always work around snakes. You shouldn't be scared of no snakes, which she was referring to the fact that Melody is around a bunch of women that she doesn't like. So when they sit down for dinner, they're having a discussion about friendships. And like I said, she made the statement, she throws out the definition that, you know, she judges the friend by how they respond when they don't get their way. And then she also she put out the question to Tisha, which it appeared that Dr. Shanita was really gunning for Tisha. She made the statement to Tisha that, can you be around someone? She made the question, can you be around someone that you don't like? Or can you sit at the table with someone that you don't like? And Tisha was like, yeah, I will give it to Tisha. She was on her mature girl for the majority of this episode. Y'all know how I feel about Tisha. I know that Tisha is full of LSE. And Tisha can say some stuff that's wild and off the cuff that I can't stand, that will aggravate my baby hairs. But this episode, I will say that Tisha was trying to be mature girl. There was one statement she made about Melody inviting her single friends, and I thought, Tisha, now this is the part. This is where you mess up, girl. But aside from that, I understood what she was saying when she stated that, yeah, I can be around people that I don't like. And Stormy jokes around with her and says, yeah, she's sitting right here next to me and she don't like me. Now, under the surface, I know that they have a little gripe because Stormy called Tisha's husband a bitch. Stormy, you were wrong for that. And you should have apologized to Tisha for that. But under the surface, I think that the two of them like each other. In fact, Tisha stated it before that she wants to be friends with Stormy, but Stormy needs to apologize for what she said about her husband. And side note, what these ladies are always coming for Tisha's husband. I'm just going to throw that out in the atmosphere. Maybe I need to do a separate video on how they always got a lot of heat from Marceau. But anywho, so back to Dr. Shanita. Dr. Shanita says, once Tisha says, yes, I can sit at the table with someone that I don't like and be cordial, Dr. Shanita leans over to her good girlfriend, Melody, while pointing her finger at Tisha, say, you need to watch her. Dr. Shanita, who don't want to be on camera, who said that your emotions are not strong enough to handle it. Why would you even make a statement like that? Say it out loud, knowing you got a mic pack on, pointing your finger at her, which is bringing more attention to you. The cameras are definitely going to close in on you. Why would you do that if you know your emotions cannot handle the backlash of the public opinion? This is why I don't believe you. I did not believe anything you said in that video. I just didn't. And then you were selling us stuff while you were doing the video. What is going on with this lady, y'all? This is a whole lot of that does not make sense in the real world. And I live in the real world. I don't live in Harlem. But yeah, she says to Melody that Melody needs to watch Tisha because Tisha has the ability to sit at the table with people that she doesn't like. Now, Dr. Shanita, I want to raise you one and ask the question. Well, if Melody is watching Tisha, shouldn't all these ladies be watching Melody? Because Melody has the ability to invite women that she does not like out of the country with her on a trip paid for by production and mishandle and mistreat them to their face. So all of them need to be watching your good girlfriend and you too. Because on the strength of what you probably heard from your good girlfriend, you're sitting here in these ladies' faces downplaying their role and their participation in this show. Kimmy said it best when they were out on the balcony. Kimmy said that we've been in this group with you long enough to be better than this. We should be better than this. Maturity would have us better than this. But bitterness won't allow you to be better. Hostess with the mostest. I also went and did a little digging because I was trying to figure out where this Dr. Shanita came from and where did she get her degree. So I went digging around on social media, and because she mentioned TikTok, I went over to TikTok. And I know, y'all, this is why. My sister. I'm not hiding it. Kevin, I'm not hiding it. Because I despise mean girl behavior. I absolutely despise mean girl behavior. And I also despise mean church girl behavior. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Because it's one thing for you to be mean on the strength of your own name. But then you throw God and Jesus in there. And as an ambassador of them, The folk looking like they don't want to love your God either. You are your God because you're nasty. You're mean. You're rude. You're trifling. So yeah, I'm not trying to hide it, Kevin. Yes, it's there. I want to like her. I'm just like Tisha in the Stormy relationship. I want to like you, but it's some things that you got to make some recompense for because your behavior is just not good. and on that note, Kevin, not one millimeter can bully me into doing something and fall in line with a groupthink mentality. No, ma'am, no, sir. My mind is too strong for that. My critical thinking skills would whoop my behind. Okay? So, no, I'm not hiding it. Back to Dr. Foster. I went looking, trying to find, like, where did she go to school? What is her degree? Like I said, I really want to know, what is her degree in? Because I know the prototype of a PhD. My sister has a doctorate, got 7 degrees. I know the prototype very well. I was living in the house with her when she got all them degrees. And I understand how hard you have to work for it and how much work it takes to maintain it. So I go to her profile on social media, which happened to be TikTok because that's the social media platform that she named. And nothing on her TikTok showed anything about her philanthropy work. None of her, I didn't see. Now maybe I didn't dig further enough, long enough, but I didn't see anything about her being an ambassador in Africa. Now, I'm not saying that it's not true. I saw her with her little Africa pendant on. My sister wear one too because she's over there a lot. In fact, she just came back. But I'm just trying to qualify this title. Where did it come from? And why are you acting so opposite of everybody else with the title? That's all. That's all. But in my snooping and digging and researching, I noticed the one of the pinned TikToks that Dr. Shanita had was this right here. Y'all want to see it? Here you go. Did y'all see what I saw? Does that look like someone who is a little camera shy, not trying to be out and exposed, especially if this is the first one that's pinned on her social media platform? That looks like somebody who's really excited because it was hashtag LAMH, the first hashtag, the first statement in the caption. Hashtag LAMH, pinned to the top. This looks like somebody who is auditioning. Either you're auditioning to be a part of the show, or you are about to be a social media influencer or content creator to show your travels. I'm just saying, Dr. Foster, I wanted to believe the story that you told because mental health matters. But in the words and the scripture that your friend wielded, we know them by the fruit that they bear. We know the tree by the fruit it bears. And I'm inclined to believe what Carlos said over on Messy Mondays, that there's not a camera that you come in contact with that you don't get friendly with. That's what I'm inclined to believe. I'm just saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down, girl. But y'all let me know. What am I missing about the PH and the D for Dr. Shanita? With all that being said, we were left on a cliffhanger for next week. Of course, you know, the ladies have got to go out and have a little excursion, and they got to have a big sit-down meal because, you know, every time they sit down for a meal, there's got to be some onions of drama on the table, and those layers will get pulled and picked apart. So if you will, please help me research Dr. Shanita and find out, you know, what's up, because I don't want to dismiss or belittle this lady's title. I as you hear me stating, I'm trying to give her just credit, but I also am not going to give anybody credentials that hadn't earned them and don't deserve them. Okay. Y'all help me research Dr. Shanita. And please make sure, like I said, once again, that you check and double check your voter registration. If you're not registered, go online right now and get registered to vote in your city, in your state. Make sure that if you are going to be traveling during the election cycle, beginning of November, that you go ahead and find out what the ballot, how can you vote early? So get your ballot so that you can do early voting and during that time, because this is serious. It's getting real serious out here in these streets. Until we meet again, we'll come back off this cliffhanger to find out how Melody feels about Latricia. Once she finds out that Latricia's been fool-la-la with Martell. Now, one last thing. The men were not on this episode. I just have one question. Why did the hostess with the mostest bring up the ex-husband's name? Just saying. Anywho, until we meet again, y'all love God and love your families. All right? Mwah.